Good evening, race fans, and welcome to race number 2 of the Race1 SK Modified Series here with American Sim Racing Club here at USA International Speedway. My name is Mason Heimbaugh with Team Goon Squad, bringing you the action here tonight. 1080p, 60 frames a second for 125 laps here tonight. Folks, after last week's race that we saw at the Bull Ring with Ron Hart coming away with the win, I am excited to see what's going to happen here tonight after, frankly, the start of the season had a little bit of quite the hiccup, might I say. So let's see if tonight drivers have a little bit of a different story to tell here at USA International Speedway, as drivers currently making their way around the racetrack, getting their laps in here for the qualifying runs. And speaking of their qualifying runs, drivers are also competing for the horsepower happenings with Zach Heiser and Rich France Pole Award. Drivers have an opportunity to come away with an extra $5 at the end of the race if they, take the pole here tonight. And currently Andrew Payne, the number 93 machine, looking to do that here tonight. The 93 car looking, honestly, throughout the seasons that we've covered here with American Sim Racing Club, Andrew Payne has done a phenomenal job in qualifying and frankly in the races as well themselves, but sometimes just doesn't have the best of luck throughout the races, whether it's because of just long run strategy in the end. Even though these races aren't particularly long, there are times where you kind of have to have that long run sort of strategy, as you can think of these races as just one long run, obviously. Anyway, Andrew Payne, though, still putting himself at the very tippy top of the pole here tonight with Ron Hart, the 51 machine, with a 2.95, just 2/100ths of a second behind Andrew Payne here. So very, very close here for the top three. Even, oh my, right as I say that, Dalton Williamson, the 01 machine, setting just 1/100ths of a second ahead of Andrew Payne here. Dalton Williamson putting himself on the pole here today with just about 2 minutes left to go here in the qualifying run. And so far, it looks to be that every driver that is actually, we still have Nick Fleury, Eric Hahn out here on track setting their qualifying runs here. Let's see where Nick Fleury as well as Eric Hahn are going to place themselves. Eric Hahn currently, it looks like he's completed his laps here. He's going to place himself 22nd on the grid. Nick Fleury, though, first time around, he's going to put himself 9th. Let's see where he comes as he comes across the line. And it does not appear that he is going to gain or lose any time in that run. And it appears actually that he was only 1/100th of a second off of his first lap here for his qualifying run. But that is going to conclude our qualifying runs here. Eric Hahn, the 711 machine, the father of Brent the Jet Hahn in the number 71 car, out here just turning some extra laps before we get ready to go green here for the first time at USA International. And folks, like I said, this is going to be quite the race here tonight. And again, tonight's pole award is brought to you by Horsepower Happenings. The Horsepower Happenings is a podcast on the Spotify platform that you can tune into on Monday nights. This week's podcast was actually talking with driver Cody Stickler after his over $10,000 win Sunday night in the Hot Shoe 100, plus fellow Michigan native and World of Outlaws late model announcer Rick, I hope I'm pronouncing this correctly, Esselman, talks about his induction into the Dirt Late Model Hall of Fame over the weekend. So great topics for Season 4, Episode 27 of the Horsepower Happenings, again on the Spotify platform. Make sure you go and follow them, tune in, and give them a listen. Talking about plenty of topics throughout the Midwest. As far as short track racing goes, Zach Heiser, one of the hosts of that show here in the race tonight as well. Zach Heiser in the number 14 machine as we get ready to take the grid here tonight at USA International Speedway. 125 laps that we're going to be completing here today. And Dalton Williamson coming away with the Horsepower Happenings Pole Award. The 01 machine starting out in the front inside row of row 1. Andrew Payne on the outside in the number 93 machine after a very valiant effort to put himself up here into the front. Ron Hart, the number 51 machine, in third place. Brent Hahn, the 71 car, in fourth place, running out our second row. Charles Darling in fifth in the 88 car. David Payton, the 38 machine, rounding out the third row on the outside in sixth place. Franklin Evans, the 933, in seventh place with Hayden Swank in eighth place, rounding out our fourth row. Nick Fleury, the 25 machine, in ninth place with Brian Wilderson, the 951, in 10th place here today. Brian Bianchi in 11th place. Tyler Jordan in 12th as we move ourselves down the grid. Quite another healthy field that we have here at USA International. Rex Hoyle, the 54 machine, in 13th. Jerry Cotrin in the 82 car, taking 14th place here tonight. Jonathan Smith in the 913 in 15th place here today, with Josh Buckley in the 46, taking 16th place here at this moment. Eddie Hughes, 17th place here tonight, with Andrew Burr in 18th. Whew, let me catch my breath here for a second. Zach Heiser, 19th place driver, as well as the host slash co-host, well, you can consider him just the host, of the Horsepower Happenings podcast. Also the sponsor of the Pole Award here tonight, starting in 19th place with Mark Welch. The other sponsor here tonight with Race 1 of the Race 1 SK Modified Series, starting in 20th here tonight with Nathan Henry in 21st. Eric Hahn, 22nd here tonight. Noah Boucher in 23rd. Brian Lawson in 24th here tonight. And a few more drivers left here with John Senu, the 86 machine, starting off in 25th. John DeMeester in 26th. And Tanner Tallarico always showing up on the grid here, but again, not officially racing here tonight. Just the man behind all the flags and making sure that the race goes as smoothly as it possibly can. So, drivers making their way around the track here tonight for the very first time at USA International Speedway, getting ourselves ready for the green flag to drop as we come out of turn 4. And it looks like someone Ron Hart. I'm not sure exactly what happened here for Mr. Ron Hart, but it seems like there might have been a little bit of a hiccup here on the restart. Or, well, not a restart, but the start of the race, and do a stop here on the front straightaway. Not exactly what for exactly, but I think just a little bit of confusion here on the racetrack as well in the race control booth as we get things sorted back out. And I believe we're going to take just another lap around here at USA International Speedway and get ourselves ready to go green here for the very first time, with Dalton Williamson, Andrew Payne out in the front row. Brent Hahn, the 3-time back-to-back champion here with the American Sim Racing Club for the modified series as well as the super late models. So Brent Hahn, a seasoned veteran here with American Sim Racing Club. Andrew Payne as well, showing a lot of, well, just great skill throughout these past couple seasons here, and has just shown massive improvement every single season, every single race. So it's great to see him up here in the starting row as we go green for the first time here at USA International Speedway. Dalton Williamson currently at the front of the pack. There we go. Now that our timing and scoring has updated, now it's showing all the correct positions here as we come out of turn 4, out onto the front straightaway. We're locked on with Brent Hahn. It looks like we've already got a caution here with Jonathan Smith involved. The 913 machine looks to be a little bit out of order here on the back, the back straightaway. No, the front straight, heading into turn 1. Okay, that's a little bit deceiving to me. Let's go ahead and take a look at the instant replay. Okay, so Jonathan Smith here. So showing as the 913 in timing and scoring, but is actually the 72 driver. Just getting a... Man, let's back this up here. Let's take one more look. I'm sure we're already getting pretty close to going back to green flag here, so we're going to make this as quick as possible. He just got loose all on his own. Okay, so it all just starts with him just getting a little bit loose all on his own there, and someone else right behind him, giving him that extra tap to send him spinning around, and bringing out the caution here for the first time here at USA International. But I gotta say, I mean, again, this series in particular with American Sim Racing Club, it brings a lot of drivers, a lot of great talent into the series. And with short track racing, you know, sometimes when you stack the field the way that we see here, things don't always work out the way that you want it to, but drivers make do, they work through it, and they continue on, and that's what makes this racing fairly fantastic, in my opinion here. But it looks like we have just another lap or two before we go back to green here. We're going to take just a second here to go to commercial, but we'll be right back in just a moment and fix something up here in the booth. Just stay tuned for 1 second. Alrighty, folks, I hope you didn't miss me too much. We got things sorted back out here. We're ready to go as we come out of turn 3. Out of turn 4 now, actually. Pace truck is in. Green flag is out, and Dalton Williamson not taking any time at all here to get away from this field, and frankly doing a fantastic job here of doing so. Here's we're locked on with second and third place drivers Andrew Payne and Charles Darling making their way through turns 1 and 2. Single file looks to be through the top 5 as we come out of turn 4. Back into turn 1 once again. Let's back things up here to a little bit wider view here and try and get as much of this field as we possibly can. There's a lot of action unfolding out on this track. We can see drivers going 3-2 wide. In some spots of the track, we even, oh, that was some spicy action through turn 4. Looks to be the 35 machine. Hayden Swang getting involved in that one. Hayden, not used to that paint scheme there, but I'm going to have to get used to that one. Good to see Hayden Swank here, the 35, in 11th place currently. Oh, wow, Brent Hahn way down on the bottom of the field here. Not exactly certain what for at this moment, but he's continuing on, and it looks like we've got a caution now with Noah Boucher. Oh, the 16 not looking good. A big puff of smoke coming from the... Oh, no. I think that engine is cooked. Let's take a look at what happened here in the Team Goon Squad instant replay. Taking a look at the 16 machine. Oh, a little bit of contact, and it looks to be that was from possibly... I believe that was Nathan... No, not Nathan Henry. Yes, it was. Nathan Henry, the 59 driver. That gave him the little bit of a tap that he needed, and unfortunately for Noah Boucher, that's going to cost him. I mean, look at the smoke pluming out of that engine right now. So for Noah Boucher, this is probably the end of his race here tonight, and that has got to be tough. And look at all the Well, okay, the front end didn't look nearly as bad as I thought it did. And perhaps he may have downshift. I don't know if he downshifted in that situation or not. I can't imagine that he would, but the situation is always possible. I hate to be admitting this on a broadcast, but I did happen to do that to myself during a Camping Universe truck race on the iRacing platform. We were just pacing around the pace truck, and for some reason my brain decided that I needed to downshift instead of shift up, and so I blew my engine under yellow. Great feeling, totally fantastic. It was a great time. So I empathize with Noah Boucher here in the 16th, but for the drivers that are not like myself and like Andrew Payne, Dalton Williamson, and Charles Darling, as we go back to green flag here, these drivers are a lot more experienced than myself behind the wheel, so they definitely are not going to be making those mistakes here tonight. And not to say that Noah Boucher is bound to make those mistakes or is prone to making those mistakes, but I had to put that out there. Anyway, Andrew Payne is going to take the lead here tonight. Lap 8 of 125. Already 2 cautions that we've seen here tonight. Let's see if this field is going to keep things a little bit more calm this time, as we're single file throughout this field at this moment. So drivers not really going to be pushing each other too much at this point in time, as we're looking from above from the blimp camera here at USA International. A little bit of a small track to have a blimp at, but we got one as we come out onto the back straightaway, heading into turn 3 again, taking a single file line throughout this field at this moment. We're locked on with the 9th place driver, Brian Bianchi. Just taking a look here, kind of just sticking with the mid-pack and just seeing how, really where this field is going to go. And you can also see Brent Hahn, 10th place at this moment, down 6 spots from where he started in 4th tonight. Not exactly 100% certain what caused Brent Hahn to drop back this far, but he is definitely not going to stay there for very long. And knowing the 71 driver, he is definitely going to be trying to find his way through this field. But at this moment, I'm very curious. Well, I'm also rather intrigued at how calm things are looking at this moment. Lap 12 of 125. I don't want to jinx anything, but it really seems like let's see here. 24 drivers that we have on the racetrack at this moment, they're all just collectively saying, hey, let's click off some laps here. Let's not make a repeat of what we saw at the bull ring. And so far, this is just fantastic. I mean, again, no one is making any hard challenges at this moment. And for Andrew Payne, that's probably a good thing. He wants to keep this lead. He wants to keep clicking off laps and staying up here in the front, and maybe even trying to build himself a little bit of a distance between Dalton Williamson, the 2nd place driver in the 01 car, who Dalton, I mean, just came out of nowhere in qualifying and outpaced Andrew Payne by literally 1/100th of a second. Absolutely incredible work there from Dalton Williamson, but currently sitting 2nd place at this moment, and I mean, not exactly seeing the biggest gap in the world separating 2nd and 1st place at this moment, but it's definitely, you're starting to see a little bit of wiggle room starting to form there. But taking a look towards the back of the field here, just working our way through and seeing where all these drivers are putting themselves at this moment. We're locked on with Josh Buckley, the 46th driver, here in 15th at this moment as we come across, well, excuse me, not across, but as we come down the back straightaway heading into turn 3 out of turn 4. Buckley here right on the tail end of Jerry Cochran, the 82 driver, and it looks like Josh Buckley here, he's got quite a bit of pace in that 46 machine. He's pretty eager to try and move around this 82. It seems like he is just playing it safe not trying to make any risky maneuvers this early on in this race. In lap 18 of 125, these laps are going to tick by very, very quickly. We're seeing lap times of just over 20 seconds here at this point in time. About 21 is the average amongst these drivers. So before too long, you're going to see that 50 lap, 75 laps, and all of a sudden it's going to be 20 laps to go. But so far, everything is very smooth amongst these drivers. Let's take a moment here and ride on. Oh, got a little bit of action starting to form up here towards the front of the field with Nick Fleury. Let's go ahead and ride on board the roll bar camera. Here we go with Nick Fleury, the 25 machine. As we come down the back straightaway heading into turn 3, you can see Franklin Evans, the 933, down on the inside of David Payne as we come out of turn 4. David Payne, another seasoned driver here with the American Sim Racing Club. Not making it easy at all here for the 933 driver, and down to the inside, out ahead of Franklin Evans. David Payne retaining his 4th place spot as we continue to ride along with Nick Fleury in the 25 machine. Fleury doing an excellent job, and Fleury also another driver in the American Sim Racing Club who has done quite well in both the modifieds as well as the super late models, keeping himself up here in the top 5, top 10 right now, trying to work his way back into that top 5 spot as he is fighting with Franklin Evans, the showing as the 933 on timing and scoring, but is driving, I believe, what is that number? The 41, there it is. So at 41, red and yellow, Nick Fleury with the dive down to the, oh wow, okay, that looked like a dive, but not quite enough momentum, and they're starting to get quite the stack of drivers behind him. Tyler Jordan getting collected, the 54 is on his roof. Oh no! Rex Hoyle getting the real short stick on the end of that one, bringing out the 3rd caution here tonight, and not without reason at all. This was a big one, at least if you're the 54 driver. Let's take a look at the instant replay here. We'll watch from Rex Hoyle's perspective. There you see the 92 get a little loose, and wow, they literally bump noses together. And that sends the 54 just flipping through the air on the front straightaway across the checkered line. And wow, that has got to be quite the hit for the 54. But look at this. After a hit like that, I mean, I'm sure he's going to have quite some damage to that car here. I don't know exactly how drivable that car is going to be here after that. There he is as we come back to the live view. He's coming down into pit road here, and I can only imagine how long he's going to spend down there getting things repaired and raceable again. I mean, this is going to be a tough race for Rex Hoyle, and for all the drivers so far that have been involved in incidents. I mean, we've got Noah Boucher, John DeMeester. Well, actually, Noah Boucher at this time, who has been down since lap 5 and has not come back since. And again, Noah Boucher suffering from a blown engine. Unfortunately, not going to be able to quite recover from that one. John DeMeester, I don't believe, has turned a lap here yet. Maybe he has. Actually, I don't know if he has or not. But anyway, Andrew Burr, Tyler Jordan, the 92 machine, who we also saw involved in that incident, going to be down here in the pits trying to get things worked out and see if they can get back onto the racetrack here tonight. So very unfortunate here for all of these drivers that are getting knocked out of this race due to these incidents. But we've already checked out 25 laps of the 125 laps that we're racing with tonight. So we've got a good green flag run under the belts of the drivers here tonight. Let's see if we can keep that momentum going here. We had a little bit of a hiccup here, but hopefully the drivers will be able to shake this one off and get back to the action that we just saw, because frankly, the racing that, I mean, we just witnessed was absolutely phenomenal. Right now it looks to be we're restarting double file. Last time around, it was back to single file restart. So race control here making a decision here to take things back to that double file restart. Maybe not. Nope. Okay, yes, it is going to stay that way. It is going to be a double file restart. So let's see if things get interesting here, or if we get this solid green flag runs that we're looking for here on this restart. Truck is in, green flag is back out here at USA International. Andrew Payne taking absolutely no time at all, heading his way into turn one, trying to build some distance between himself and the rest of the field. Looking at the mid-pack, we've got drivers 3 wide here. Oh, contact from the 35 machine, and there's more drivers involved in this one. I believe 6, 7 drivers all making contact with each other here on this restart. Let's take a look at the instant replay and see how this one unfolded. All right. It all starts with the 35, and from there it just gets worse. I believe it was 6 drivers all getting involved in this one here. In total, I think it was Zach Heiser, John Senu, Ron Hart, Jerry Cochran, and possibly... Oh, I didn't catch the other driver there, but either way, either how, this was definitely not... I don't think any... I mean, obviously, when you go into a restart, this is not how you want to see it kind of go down. But with this field, with this, you know, with the cars that we have, with how many drivers we have out on track, and I mean, every single one of these drivers has has an attitude to win. They all want to come away with that checkered flag and be the one to take home the podium. And frankly, sometimes that can lead to some, well, exciting racing. Sometimes it can also bring out more cautions than the drivers may preferably like to see here, but hey, that's all right. This is only going to give an opportunity for the entire field get themselves, well, get themselves ready to go, get themselves back into the groove of things, and start to, well, prepare for this next stint, if you will, if you want to call it a stint. But Andrew Payne here tonight, and as well as Dalton Williamson, I mean, both of these drivers have just done an incredible job of retaining their positions throughout this race here tonight. I mean, it's just been absolutely incredible watching these drivers duke it out for this long. I mean, Andrew Payne starting off in second place, being able to get out ahead of Dalton Williamson, who qualified first. Now sitting in that second place spot, and it looks to be that we're going to go back to this single file restarts this time around as we come out of turn 2, out onto the back straightaway. The lights are off on the pace truck. We're going to get ready to go back to green flag racing here once again. As we work our way through turn 3. And out of turn 4, the pace truck is in. The green flag will drop. Here at USA International Speedway, Andrew Payne again taking no time to move himself up through this field. And look at this, Franklin Evans up on the outside of Nick Fleury. They're side by side. Little bit of contact here as they come out of turn 2 onto the back straightaway. The 41 Franklin Evans, 933 on the timing and scoring screen. Falling back into 6th place, a little bit of a bump here as we come into turn 1, into turn 2, out onto the back straightaway here once again. Single file here throughout this field as, you know, coming out of this restart, not a whole lot of drivers here going to try and take it too wide right out of the gate. As already we've seen a couple drivers getting into each other a little bit more than they probably would like to see here, but it does also make passing a lot more difficult. Back here towards the tail end of the field, Brian Lawson, the 091 machine, here with Andrew Byrne. Just taking a look here through the tail end of the field as we continue on this next green flag run here, lap 31 of 125. We've got a little bit of close side-by-side action here, actually. Hayden Swank, the 35 machine, trying to get himself back up this grid, sitting at 15th, down 7 spots from where he started tonight. So Hayden Swank definitely probably not too satisfied with how things are going tonight at this point, and seeing that field ahead of you and not really being able to, well, in Hayden's case, he's probably more than capable of being able to reel in that field, but sometimes it can feel a little hopeless at times. Lap 33 of 125, Andrew Payne still in the lead at this moment, and Dalton Williamson, surprisingly, I mean, he's just staying right on the tail of Andrew. I mean, he's not really trying to give him too much pressure here. Let's go ahead and ride on board with Dalton for just a moment. And you can kind of see what I mean here. Dalton's just staying right on the tail end of Andrew Payne and just waiting for that 93 machine to make a mistake here, whether it's he gets a little bit too hot going into a turn, he misses the braking zone by 15, 25 feet, whatever the case may be. You can see Dalton just driving all over the rear of this 93 car, trying to find any spot that he can to get around Andrew Payne. And you can see as well Charles Darling, the 88 machine, getting himself into the mix of things as well for the top 3, holding on to that 3rd place spot as well. But David Payton, Nick Fleury starting to reel them in. Last week's race, Ron Hart came home with the win at the Bull Ring. The 51 driver coming home with the win for the season opener. And here tonight, sitting 17th at this moment. I mean, if I'm not mistaken, I believe it was Ron Hart that did mention that he said that he wasn't too confident about USA too much, but was hoping for a good run nonetheless. I could be mistaking that for someone else. Second place was Rex Hoyle, and third place was Dalton Williamson. So, currently sitting in second place. I mean, regardless, I mean, if the race were to end right now, I mean, Dalton coming away with a podium, that's always going to be a great thing, but it's a long race left to go here. We're only lap 40 of 125 into our really second good green flag run that we have here. And anything can potentially happen here at this point. There is a lot of racing left to be done, and looking at the racing happening right now between the 71 machine as well as the 951 of Brian Wildison. Brent Hahn down onto the inside as they come out of turn 2 out onto the back straightaway. Brent Hahn, after not so great of a finish last week, finishing 12th at the bull ring, he's looking to redeem himself a little bit. Again, the three-time back-to-back champion here with American Sim Racing Club, trying to see where he can put himself as high on the grid, as high up this field as he possibly can, and having fallen down from that fourth place spot that he started in tonight. I mean, he's got quite a bit of work ahead of him, but Brent Hahn is not all that ill-familiar with working his way from the tail end of a field all the way to the front. So I really would not expect or would doubt to see Brent Hahn get up here into, I mean, at least the top 5. There is over 75 laps left to be turned here before we see that checkered flag, and I no doubt in my mind that we'll see the 71 machine up here in at least the top 5 before the night is over. I mean, for Andrew Payne, for Dalton Williamson, I mean, you can also put Charles Darling up here as well, because Charles has been right up here in the top 3. Maybe not as close as Dalton is to Andrew, so to speak, but Charles is still within a half a second. He's right about at that quarter of a second gap between second and third place at this moment. I mean, so Charles is absolutely driving the wheels off of the 88 machine, trying to keep up here in that top 3 pack. But for all 3 of these drivers, I mean, you know, you have someone that is as experienced as Brent Hahn, you know, working their way through this field and getting up here to the front. I mean, I'm sure they're not terrified of that idea, but they are definitely going to be feeling that pressure here, I think, before too long, possibly. Just have to keep our eye open. But there's also the potential that we could see a new driver, Dalton Williamson, come out here and start to show some serious dominance. I mean, again, remember, Dalton Williamson coming home with the 3rd place finish last week after a, let's just be honest here, a rough race at the bull ring. I mean, I don't think it's too far out of the question here, especially looking at the performance that we've seen here so far from the 01 car, that he's going to be able to come away with a podium or maybe even a win here tonight, assuming that Andrew Payne doesn't make any mistakes here. It could be Andrew Payne's race here, and frankly, I would love to see that 93 machine come away with a win, especially with how dominant he's looked here tonight. I think he has led, gosh, I would have to say at least 35 of the 50 laps that we've completed here so far, if not more. I could be a little off on that number, but either way, it's been an impressive race here for Andrew Payne, and given how difficult USA International can be sometimes, that's not an easy feat to come by. We've got some action brewing here in the midfield, though. Currently locked on with Jonathan Smith in the 913 machine, showing as the 72 car. right behind the tail end of the 951 of Brian Wildison at this moment as we come out of turn 2 out onto the back straightaway. You can start to see this field is actually getting spread out. Slowly but surely, I want to say slowly but surely, but we definitely are starting to see the different packs starting to form out on track here. And I mean, with that, you're going to start to see the leaders get into a little bit of lap traffic. It might slow them down a little bit. And for Andrew Payne, that might be, I don't know, that could get a little worrisome for the 93 machine. And no, folks, there is not a caution. Don't worry. Sometimes the old timing and scoring likes to show that every now and then after a caution has happened. But fear not. We are still green flag. Lap 55 of 125, and it has been phenomenal racing here at USA International Speedway with the drivers, the American Sim Racing Club for the Race 1 US SK Modified Series. Big shout out and thank you to Mark Welch, the 74 driver, and also the sponsor holder for Race 1 US. Big thank you as well to Zach Heiser in the number 14 machine, with Horsepower Happenings also being a sponsor of the series this season. Great to have these guys on board, and also super awesome to have them in the race here as well. Just being out here turning some laps with the guys with American Sim Racing Club. Great to see it. I love to see it. Oh no, I don't love to hear that though. Little bit of contact happening out on the racetrack, and I don't exactly know. It might be Eddie Hughes. Okay, it definitely was Eddie Hughes, the 34 machine. Let's go ahead and, oh, okay, you know what? We're going to go ahead and take a quick look at the replay and see what happened here. .34 machine down onto the inside of the 11 car of Brian Bianchi. Makes slight contact, but for the 34, that's enough to send him down into the bottom wall, I believe, of turn 2. Unfortunately for Eddie Hughes, that's going to bring him down into pit road, and let's see if he's definitely going to be there for a little while, as he just came back down getting the right side of those right side tires changed. And once that happens, you're pretty much good to go from the pits from there. But based on that, Eddie Hughes still sitting there in the pits. He's definitely got some damage to be worked out to the 34 car. But our fifth caution here tonight, lap 58 of 125, and the top 3 have not changed one bit. Andrew Payne still our race leader. Dalton Williamson in second place here today. David Payton in third. So I take that back. David Payton has moved his way into third place. And Charles Darling has actually decided. Oh, okay. All right. So we got a couple drivers making the decision to come down into pit road under the yellow flag, get a fresh set of tires. Drivers that were in the top 3, Charles Darling being one of them, going to take the opportunity to get that fresh set of tires and hopefully see a little bit more pace out of their cars here tonight. And given that we're just about to the halfway point in tonight's race, I mean, it might be a smart decision to do here. But for almost the top 10 here, everyone else has decided to stay out. Andrew Payne, Dalton Williamson, David Payton, Nick Fleury, Franklin Evans, Brent Hahn, Brian Bianchi, Josh Buckley, as well as Mark Welch, have all decided to stay out this caution. I mean, I don't blame them. They have enough fuel. The tires should last all the way until the checkered flag. But again, they do have that option to be able to come down and get that fresh set if they choose to do so. Drivers always have an extra set of tires behind the wall to utilize at any point in the race. Albeit it might come at a cost of losing positions during the pit laps or during the caution laps, however you want to see it. It's still there. It's still available for drivers to take. So some drivers playing a little bit of a gambling game here tonight, and let's see if it's going to pay off for them, as I believe indeed we are. So coming out of turn 4, the pace truck diving down into pit road, back to green flag racing. Andrew Payne taking no time here once again, as he has done restart after restart. But the 38 David Payton, he is going to look to the inside here through turn 2, out onto the back straightaway. He's side by side. Dalton Williamson wheel to wheel into turn 3. 2 wide, almost 3 deep here. You can see Brent Hahn trying to get up to the inside of the 11 of Brian Bianchi, not quite able to do so this time around. Franklin Evans currently in that 4th place spot. Shuffles up to the top, makes a little bit of contact with Nick Fleury. The 41 Franklin Evans here trying, man, he is just pushing. Not sure how appreciated that's going to be amongst all the drivers here, but hey, that's racing for you. Lap 60 of 125, just about to the halfway mark in tonight's race. Just a couple more laps before we reach that point. Brent Hahn here, just one more to go before he reaches that top 5 that he's probably been searching for here for quite some time. And like I said, folks, it was not going to take him hardly any time at all to reach that point. As Andrew Payne continues to just lead this field and just dominate. Turn after turn, I mean, it just seems like he is just on a man. Great work here from Andrew Payne, and frankly, from this field. I mean, after the race that we all saw at Bullring last week, I'm sure that each and every single one of these drivers might have got a little bit of PTSD from that one, and was every single one of them thinking to themselves, we cannot do that again. Charles Darling, the 88 machine, one of the drivers who opted to come down into the pits during that caution flag, trying to see what those fresher set of tires can do here. And so far, I mean, it's just kind of chipping away like an artist on ice, I mean, or on marble or whatever. Anyway, Charles Darling just slowly but surely chipping away at this field here, sitting in that 11th place spot. I believe when he came back out onto the field, he was 14th, if I'm not mistaken. So Charles here going to be doing a great job. We're 3 wide though. Seemingly, oh wow. Ron Hart here. Oh man, the 72 as well of Jonathan Smith. I don't know, these two drivers just going at it here down the back straightaway and heading into turn 3. Side by side, almost getting the 72. A little bit loose there, but right behind them, Mark Welch gets contact to his rear end down into the bottom wall, coming out of turn 4. That's going to bring the caution out here and bring the 74 to a dead stop. Right on the bottom of turn 4, he's going to try and get that race car back onto the track here. Let's take a look at the instant replay and see what happened. Oh, the 54 machine. Right into the right rear. Rex Hoyle just barely getting into him. That's going to bring Mark Welch down into the bottom wall. Hopefully not too much damage is done. Oh man, he's coming through pits. I don't know he might have a little bit more done to that car than, well, he hasn't come down pits either yet for tires or anything like that as well. So I'm not exactly 100% certain that it's purely just for... Let's take a look here. I am not seeing that car move up or down at all, so I don't know. I think he might be coming in for some pretty serious damage. And that has got to just be crushing for Mark Welch. So for Andrew Payne, David Payton, Dalton Williamson, these drivers all going to take the top 3 here as we get ready to go back to green flag racing. I believe once we come across the line next time around, the lights will go off on the pace truck. And we should be back to green flag the next time around. So, while we're still under yellow flag here, I just want to take a moment to appreciate the fact that Andrew Payne has yet to be contended for this lead. I mean, we've seen David Payton. We've started to see David Payton, mind you. Dalton Williamson was there in that second place spot for... I wish I had a number for how long he was actually there. I wish I could tell you, but... Point being, the 93 machine has just shown an incredible pace here tonight at USA, and it's just been lap after lap just perfect every single time. And so far, no one has been able to challenge the pace of the 93 machine, but as some of the field has started to work their way through pits, get those fresher set of tires, get a new set of tires, if might I add. Things might just shuffle around here a little bit as the race gets over that halfway mark, and the pace truck makes its way back down into pit road, and the green flag drops here once again at USA International Speedway for the Race 1 SK Modified Series here with American Sim Racing Club in Franklin Evans out of turn 2. Oh no, that is not the sight we want to see there. Multiple race cars scattered across the racetrack. Let's take a look at the replay here into turn 1. We're looking at the yellow and red. Oh no, David Payton. David Payton didn't even know it, but he was actually the one that started all of this. And I'm sure David, if you're watching this, please don't feel too bad. I'm sure maybe you might, I don't know. Anyway, let's take a look at the replay here once again. We're going to take things into slow motion here for just a second as well, just to kind of exemplify things here. Look at this. Little bit of so not technically David Payton's fault here, and I think David might have even felt that contact. But into the wall, Franklin Evans goes down to the bottom of the racetrack. The 92 getting collected, and the 92 also involved in an incident earlier on in this race here. Oh, man, multiple drivers not really having the best of time here tonight. Seventh caution of the race, lap 68 of 125 here. As the field gets themselves sorted back out, we're going to go ahead and take a quick commercial break up here in the booth, folks. Get our whistles sorted here. A little dry out here at the moment, but we'll come back for more. The Race 1 SK Modified Series right here on Team Goon Squad. Stay tuned and don't go anywhere, and we'll be back for more iRacing right here on Team Goon Squad. Welcome back, race fans. The lights are off on the pace truck as we come down the back straightaway into turn 3. Andrew Payne, David Payton, Dalton Williamson all in our top 3 as the pace truck dives down into pit road. Green flag drops here once more as we cross the line, lap 69 of 125. Here today at USA International Speedway, restarting a single file this time around. Brent Hahn, though, with the move down on the inside of Brian Bianchi. He is going to come out of turn 4, out onto the front straightaway, heading into turn 1. Going to be able to push his way up here into 4th place here, out of turn 2, out onto the back straightaway we go. Brian Bianchi putting up a fight here, not letting it be too easy here for Brent Hahn. You can also see Hayden Swank, the 35 machine, down on the right behind the 71 machine, rather. Trying to push his way up into the top 5 here, as well as we come back out onto the back straightaway, back into turn 3. Let's go ahead and ride on board here from Hayden Swank's perspective, from his roll bar, and take a look and see from the 35 machine as we come down the back straightaway into turn 3. Hayden absolutely driving the wheels off of this machine here tonight as he's trying to run down Brian Bianchi here. Make a move down onto the inside, but not quite. Oh man, that was quite the move. A lot of momentum here for Hayden Swank, but not quite able to capitalize on it. Here as Andrew Payne is going to come out of turn 4 and across the checkered line. That'll bring us 50 laps left to go here in tonight's race. For Brent Hahn, I mean, and for any of these drivers, that is not a whole lot of time left to work with, especially when you have the field starting to get spread out just a little bit here and there. And I mean, we're already starting to see distance between the mid-pack as in the front of the field. You can see Nick Fleury, the 25 machine, sitting in 7th place at this moment. Hayden Swank having fallen back here just a little bit to 8th place now. Trying to find his way down onto the inside of the 25 machine, Brian Wildison. Also trying to get a run in here on Hayden Swank. And you can even see Charles Darling, who was up here in the 3rd place spot not too long ago. Here in this 9th place spot at the moment, trying to work his way up some positions as well. Wildison in the 951. Doing a good job here on the outside line. Trying to keep with Charles. Darling ultimately is not quite going to work out the way that I think he wants it to. Someone dropping down way to the inside. I believe that was John DeMeester. Might have just been getting out of the way of the drivers on the lead lap. Josh Buckley here, the 46 machine, right behind Brian Bianchi at this time as we come out of turn 4 across the checkered line. Josh holding on to that 6th place spot and kind of in the same spot that a lot of these drivers have found themselves in at least once in this race tonight, is getting stuck by a driver ahead of you, but not being able to make any moves around them and just being stuck in a lane and just hoping and praying that they'll make a mistake and you'll be able to capitalize on that. And it's tough to do that. It's tough to be that patient and wait for that opportunity to come. Lap 84 of 125, the action has gotten to a point now where these drivers are they're clicking off laps, they're biding their time, they're waiting for opponents to make mistakes and make moves. I mean, at this point when you're following each other around single file on a track where you really only have one lane to work with, it's a game of patience at this point. Everyone's already came in and as well, not everyone, I should say, but a lot of the field has come in and used their fresh set of tires that they have behind the wall, and it doesn't really seem like anyone that has come down into the pits has really been able to capitalize on that advantage at this moment. Looks like Brian Lawson, the 091 machine, a little bit out of shape here on the front straightaway. Let's take a look at the replay and see what happened here for the 091 machine, and see what happened here for this 8th caution to come out, dropping down to the bottom of the racetrack. I think might have been some technical issues with the 091 driver's car here tonight. Oh, whoa, okay. Andrew Payne, though, coming down into the pits here. Lap 88 of 125 after leading the vast majority of the race here tonight, I mean, I can only imagine that Andrew Payne has probably just burned through his tires. I'm sure he was probably quite literally driving the wheels off of that car, and it's just now to the point to where it's, hey, you gotta come in, you gotta get those changed out. It's not gonna work any longer. But for David Payne, for Dalton Williamson, and now Brent Hahn, who's finally worked his way into the top 3 here, everything has changed. And we're getting mighty, mighty close to those final 25 laps, and even closer to the checkered flag. So these drivers are in an optimal position, and so far with the green flag runs that we've seen here, I'm almost expecting to see this go all the way until the checkered flag on this restart. Lap 87 of 125. David Payne, Dalton Williamson, Brent Hahn, all our top 3. And I believe as we're coming out of turn 3 and 4, once we come across the checkered line, the lights will go off on the pace truck. And we'll be back to green flag here in just a short pace lap. Indeed, the lights do go off. You can see Dalton Williamson as well, trying to keep the temps up in those tires. Back to green flag we go. Lap 88 of 125, and David Payne gonna have an opportunity to lead some laps here. Coming out of turn 2, out onto the back straightaway. All sorts of drivers shuffling and scuffling their way around as we come out of turn 4, out onto the back, or onto the front straightaways, excuse me. Couple drivers getting stuck on the outside here. Charles Darling, the 72, Jonathan Smith, one of them. You can see Hayden Swank as well as Brian Wildison down on the inside here of Charles Darling, as well as Jonathan Smith. They're able to make those passes quite effectively. Single file here for the most part, with a little bit of a scuffle back here with Rex Hoyle and Andrew Payne. Franklin Evans, meanwhile, though, looks to be has got it off the track before a caution was able to come out. Thankfully for the rest of the field. Dalton Williamson with quite the move down to the inside here for the lead out of turn 4. David Payne getting shuffled up to the outside line. He's not going to give up that easily, but Brent Hahn, he's also lurking there. Down on the inside line, you've also got the 46 of Josh Buckley. The battle for the lead only getting hotter and hotter as we're getting closer to that checkered flag, and Brent Hahn After a long fight, back up to the front of the field here, sitting in, well, battling for second place with David Payne as they go wheel to wheel into turn 3. Brent Hahn going to have the advantage here coming out of turn 4 down on the inside line. He's able to push his way up into second place effectively, making David Payne and Josh Buckley now wheel to wheel. Most of the field behind them going to be single file at this moment. Side-by-side action through some parts of this field. Nick Fleury down on the inside of David Payne. David's in trouble at this moment. He's got to find some room down on this inside. He's got to get ahead of someone, because right now he's just getting passed by this train of drivers. He's kind of stuck with no options at the... Oh, no. Contact through turn 1 between Brian Wilderson. David Payne doing a phenomenal job keeping that 38 machine together here. Lap 98 of 125. Dalton Williamson retaking the lead here. Now without some pressure from behind from Brent Hahn, and Brett is going to be on a mission here with 26 laps left to go here at USA International Speedway for the Race 1 SK Modified Series. Riding on board here for a moment with Andrew Payne in the 93 machine as we come out of turn 4, out onto the front straightaway. 25 laps left to go. Andrew Payne sitting in that 9th place spot here at this moment, just on the inside of the top 10. Trying to work his way down onto the inside of Brian Wilderson in the 951 machine. Great driving here from Andrew Payne, trying to see what he can do to work his way around Brian Wilderson. And again, folks, this is just, it's tough to make passes here on a track like USA. Only 22 laps left to go. Time is ticking away for these drivers to make up any positions or try and make any last minute moves through this field. And Andrew Payne having had an incredible run for this race here tonight and opting to come down into the pit. Again, I'm sure it's probably because he just drove those tires to the point where they just couldn't go anymore. And ultimately having to come back out of the pits towards the tail end of the field. But doing a good job working his way up through it and back up into 8th place at this moment with 20 laps left to go. I mean, anything can still happen here. as we come through and out of turns 1 and 2 and out onto the back straightaway. Dalton Williamson continues to show no signs of letting up or making it easy here for Brent Hahn to get up here into the lead and be able to make a win here tonight. Dalton is looking to take that win himself here at USA International, and Josh Buckley, the 46 machine, I mean, up 13 spots from where he started tonight. He is just having he's having an incredible run for his race here tonight. A little bit of lap traffic coming into play here. It looks to be the 86 of John Senu. Not going to affect the leaders too much here. John Senu doing the sportsman-like thing, getting out of the way of the rest of the field here as they continue on with their race. And locked on here with Nick Fleury, just kind of tracking with the top 5, the top 10, if you will. Brian Lawson in the chat saying he blew up. You know, Brian, I was telling the folks earlier that I did the same thing to myself in another race. Glad to know I'm not the only one. As we've got another caution here involving Eric Hahn as well as Ron Hart. Not exactly certain what unfolded between the two. Let's go ahead and take a look at the instant replay. Side by side as they come into turn 3. Oh, Ron Hart just a little bit too hot into the rear end of Eric Hahn, but Ron Hart doing a great job of getting himself into a stop before making that any worse than it could have been there. Both of these two drivers very, very well experienced here. We go ahead and get the field restacked and ready for the final few laps left to go here tonight at USA International. 13 laps left before we see the checkered flag here tonight. Alrighty, folks. So, ninth caution of the race here. 13 laps left to go. And Dalton Williamson retaking that lead here. Or, well, keeping himself back in his lead that he started with tonight. And Brent Hahn on his outside in the 71 machine as the lights go off on the pace truck heading into turn 1. Getting ourselves ready to go back to green flag here for what will hopefully be the last time before we see the checkered flag here at USA International Speedway for the Race 1 SK Modified Series with American Sim Racing Club as we come through turn 4, turn 3, and now turn 4. Pace truck making the dive down into pit road. Green flag is back out here once again, and Dalton Williamson, no time at all here, getting back up to the front of the field here. Brent Hahn trying to keep himself as close as he can with that 01 machine. Drivers, meanwhile, in the midfield, all scrapping for position as we come out of turn 4, back out onto the front straightaway. Hayden Swank on the inside in 9th place currently with Charles Darling on the outside. Down the back straightaway we go, heading into turn 3. Dalton Williamson holding on to that first place spot with just about a quarter of a second gap between himself and Brent Hahn. Hayden Swank still on the inside of Charles Darling at this moment. Down the back straightaway we head back into Darling a little sideways. He recovers it, but only just. The 35, Hayden Swank, he gets himself a little wobbly into the wall, but no caution coming out from it. 9 laps left to go, back into turn 1. Things continue to get spicy here in the final few laps at USA International. 8 laps left to go as we come across the checkered line. Brent Hahn continuing to try and find a line here on the inside of Dalton. 8 laps left to go, 7 as we cross the line here. Not much longer left for either of these drivers. And Brent Hahn, I mean, again, got to give credit to the 71 for having fallen back a little bit in the field and working his way back up here into 2nd place. 2 spots ahead of where he qualified in 4th place at the beginning of the race here tonight. So great work here from Brent Hahn, the 3-time back-to-back champion with American Sim Racing Club. Looking to continue that streak here into the Race 1 SK Modified Series. Well, Dalton Williamson looking to show quite the competition in this series, as coming home from a podium last week at Las Vegas, going to be looking to come home with the win here tonight at USA International. As we come across the line here, it's 4 laps left to go, and Dalton Williamson right now, if he continues on this pace that he's on, he is going to come home with that win here tonight. And Brent Hahn, I mean, he is just trying everything that he's got behind that wheel, waiting for every single opportunity, any opportunity that is presented to him at this moment. And right now it looks like Dalton is not letting any of those happen. Through turn 3 and 4, out onto the front straightaway, across the checkered line. 2 laps left to go. Next time around, the white flag will be out. This is it. Out of turn 4, across the checkered line. It's the final lap here at USA International Speedway. The battle is between Dalton Williamson and Brent Hahn. Josh Buckley in that 3rd place spot. Heading into turn 3. Brent Hahn still right on the tail of it, but looks like no dive or any moves coming from it. It's a tough place to make any passes here. Across the checkered line, Dalton Williamson taking home the win here at USA International Speedway. Brent Hahn in 2nd, Josh Buckley taking home that third place spot here tonight. Great racing from this entire field. A tough race to be in, and I gotta say, some phenomenal action that we saw here throughout the night, as Dalton Williamson is going to get himself ready to burn down the field here in Victory Lane, or Victory Circle rather, here at USA International. So we're going to go ahead and get ourselves ready for post-race interviews. First up is going to be Josh Buckley, the 46 driver, coming home with third place here tonight. Josh Buckley, welcome to the booth. Congratulations on your third place finish. I mean, what a race that we had here tonight. And for yourself, I mean, moving up from, looks like he came up from 16th place all the way up here to third. He had quite the race here tonight. Josh, walk me through what your plan and expectations were coming into USA International tonight.
I didn't think I was going to be very good. I just didn't feel like the setup really went to my style, but I tried to stay to the bottom on the restarts, just, buy my time, and just as the opportunities arose, people passed cars in front of me, stuck a car on the outside. I just tried to keep that train going and get every position I could.
Yeah, and coming from last week at the bull ring and just seeing kind of the caution fest that we saw, I mean, were you maybe expecting a little bit of the same here tonight and maybe kind of taking things a little more cautiously, or were you hoping for more of a green flag race here tonight?
I was hoping for a little bit more of a green flag race. I was trying to save my tires early, see if that would help me in the long run. Obviously, it helped me get to where I am, but I thought we were going to see a few more cautions than we had, just because of how close lap times were and how on top of each other everybody was, but I'm glad it turned out the way it did. Absolutely.
Well, and hopefully for yourself, for the 46 machine, we're able to see your momentum carry forward into the rest of the season and into next week. But before we let you go here tonight and celebrate your podium, is there anyone watching the broadcast, anyone at home or in the pit crew that you want to shout out and thank before you go?
Just thank Checker Flag Auto Supply, the Racing School, the league for putting this series on, and for you guys for broadcasting.
Absolutely. Well, thank you for joining me up here in the booth tonight, Josh, and I look forward to seeing you next week.
Thank you, sir.
Absolutely. You have a great night.
You too.
Alrighty, folks, that was Josh Buckley out of the booth here tonight. Brent Hahn, the 71 machine, the three-time champion here with American Sim Racing Club, taking second place after not quite the best race that you had last week at the bull ring. Brett, welcome back to the booth. How are you feeling after taking home a podium after not quite a happy race last week at the bull ring?
Yeah, Mason, first, happy to be back chatting with you. That's always the goal. Each week when we come out here, be chatting with you at the end, especially with a point structure straight up. Every race counts this season, so got to keep the good paying points finishes ahead of us, that's for sure. But yeah, Mason, a little bit of a up and down day. Me and Chuck made contact. I think some racing deal, no hard feelings there, but that put us all the way back and had to really fight my way for every pass, Mason. It was not easy to get around cars, and put all the pressure I could on Dalton, but just wasn't enough, and I wasn't going to move him there at the end.
Yeah, and it was really, really exciting watching you, work your way up through this field again. Like you said, you had a little bit of a scuffle there with Charles Darling that set you back quite a bit, but, I said it on the broadcast, you're kind of known for moving your way up from the tail end of a field and putting yourself up there, whether it's on the podium or in the win itself. So great to see you up here taking that second place spot here tonight. Now kind of with last week out of the way, the PTSD kind of settled in now. What are your kind of expectations, and what's your momentum going forward into next week and really the rest of the season, knowing that, like you said yourself, the points are really going to come into effect here and kind of got to be on your A game throughout the season?
Yeah, Mason, this definitely gives me some confidence here tonight with this podium. I could definitely catch Dalton when I was really pushing, just close to impossible to pass here tonight. So that was about as good as it was going to get unless he made a big mistake. So really taking a lot of momentum forwards. I think especially Dalton got to see the speed out of the 71 machine. So that would be in his head a little bit. But yeah, Mason, definitely pumped up. Hopefully we can, of course, go like every season, talk to you as much as we can, get these podiums, keep the consistent finishes rolling, because with these cars being so close, Mason, you don't know how the outcome's going to turn out in one of these races.
Yeah, absolutely. It can go from good to bad in the blink of an eye. It's happened already before, and I'm sure it'll happen again as the season goes on. But Brett, congratulations on taking a podium here tonight. Thank you for joining me up here in the booth. But before we let you go, anyone you want to shout out and thank before you go? Anyone watching at home in the pit crew? Floor is yours, my friend.
Alrighty, thank you, Mason. Of course, you, Mason, and Team Goon Squad putting on an awesome broadcast. All the viewers, all the Brett the Jet fans out there, cheer me on. What's up, guys? Gotta give a shout out to my dad. He finished 10th tonight, so top 10 for him. And then, of course, all the people on the car from Turn 3 Racing Network, QuickTime Motorsports Media, RogersCars.com, RHU Racing, the teammates, Nick and Dave. They had some pretty good runs. Sadly, Dave, a little bit of a heartbreak there at the end, finishes like 15th or something. Of course, like I was saying, the Brett the Jet fans got a shout out. My grandma, Grammy, watching. Of course, the family, got mom, dad, brother probably tuning on in. And then, of course, all the co-workers. I think Jacob's out there and the rest of the boys. So, yeah, Mason, definitely pumped up and ready to go to next week with some more momentum.
Absolutely. Love to hear it. Brent the Jet Hahn, 3-time back-to-back champion here with American Sim Racing Club, taking home second place for race number 2 tonight. Great to hear back from you, Brett, and hopefully get to hear from you again next week, and good luck to you.
Yep, sounds like a plan, Mason. That's where we'll be going for. So, everyone have a great night.
You too, Brett. Have a good one. Alrighty, folks, that was Brett the Jet Hahn, the 71 machine, out of the booth here tonight. Last, certainly not going to be least here, Dalton Williamson, the 01 machine, coming home with the win here tonight. Dalton, after coming home with a podium last week, after a little bit of a, well, interesting race that we saw at the bull ring, coming home with a win here tonight. I gotta say, Dalton, you were looking extremely confident out there on the racetrack tonight. Qualifying, you came home with the Horsepower Happenings Pole Award, so also going to walk away with an extra $5 in your pocket after the race is set. Well, after we're done with this conversation, I'm sure. But anyway, Dalton, I mean, walk me through what your game plan was for tonight and how you planned on executing it.
Well, I gave up the lead there at the beginning because, I mean, here, to be honest with you, like I was telling all the guys up there, I normally struggle here, so I was surprised that I won tonight, to be honest, because normally the setup tightens up, which it did, but not as bad as it normally does. So I kind of gave up the lead and let Andrew set the pace there at the beginning and just kind of saved the whole night. And I guess the cards fell the right way, and it worked out.
Yeah, and you know, the interesting thing that we kind of saw develop here towards the end of the race, Andrew Payne decided to come down into pit road about lap 88, I believe it was, during that, I think it was 8th or 9th caution. And it got me thinking, you know, how much was he actually driving those tires off? And I mean, for your case, how much were you actually saving in that situation? So, I mean, seeing that 93 machine come down into the pits, I mean, what was running through your head at that point in time?
Kind of like the other guy said, it was so hard to pass, you know. That was my main goal, is why I didn't take tires. It was so hard to pass tonight. I felt like track position was better than tires tonight. So, I mean, like I said, it was kind of just where the cards fell tonight, honestly.
Well, the cards definitely fell in your favor, and able to come home with not only 2 podiums, but a win in the second race of the season of Race 1 SK Modified Series. Dalton, congratulations on your win here tonight. And before we let you go and crack one open and celebrate, is there anyone watching the broadcast, anyone at home or in the pit crew that you want to shout out and thank before you go tonight?
First and foremost, you guys for broadcasting, all the admin here, Tanner, Nick, Dave, and Brett, and Andrew, and as far as sponsors, Rev Esports, Platinum RV Services, Nitro Racing, and other than that, the family for watching, and other than that, not too much.
All right. Well, Dalton, thank you very much for joining me up here in the booth tonight. congratulations once again on your win, and hopefully get to see yourself back up here competing with Brent Hahn, and maybe even knock Brent Hahn out of that three-time season streak that he has here so far with American Sim Racing Club.
I mean, I'm going to try, man. Brett's definitely a tough competitor. I mean, that's probably one of the hardest modified races I think I've ran on the service in quite some time. So, I mean, I think it's going to be a good year.
Well, I'm rooting for you, Dalton, and hopefully get to see you back up here in the booth next week.
Appreciate it. Have a good night.
You as well, Dalton. Have a good one.
You too.
Alrighty, folks. Dalton Williamson out of the booth here tonight, coming home with the win here today at USA International Speedway. That is going to conclude our coverage here tonight of the Race1 SK Modified Series. Race number 2 with American Sim Racing Club. My name is Mason Heimball with Team Goon Squad, bringing you the action here tonight, 1080p, 60 frames a second. I want to thank each and every single one of you for tuning in and watching. I want to thank our series sponsors, Race1 US, as well as Horsepower Happenings, for putting on the pole award for this season, for this series. Thank you once again, everyone, for tuning in and watching every single week. We will be back same time, same place. Make sure you like, subscribe to the channel to make sure that you catch all the action that we have here on TGS 7 days a week. Once again, we will be back same time, same place for race number 3 of the Race1 SK Modified Series. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you all next week.